world, and we've had the opportunity to meet and work with a lot of wonderful people. I only hope that we never lose sight of one thing, that it was all started by a mouse. Walt Disney. Welcome to the Pixel Pop Movie Podcast. I am your host, Toby. This fortnight I am joined by the little bit small with big ears Ethan.
Hey, it's me.
And driving a tugboat in black and white Lucas.
Oh boy. Tugboat Willie, am I?
Yeah, why not? Of course, the topic of conversation this fortnight, our primary one, is going to be the Disney acquisition of Fox and what that means. And it should be an interesting one because obviously there's a lot. I mean, Fox has been making movies since the 20s of the 20th century, mind you. So nearly 100 years. So there's a lot to sort of that has come over. We're not going to look at all of it, but we've got some stuff to talk about. We're going to do a quick spoiler free on Afterlife, which recently aired on Netflix. Which is the Ricky Gervais series. And we're also going to do some spoiler-free on Love, Death and Robots, which is getting a lot of attention at the moment on Netflix as well. But before we get into all of that, we've got the usual news along with some pretty exciting trailers. Please take us away, Ethan.
First bit of news is we've got Tom Holland, who we all know plays Spider-Man, is in talks to star in the Russo brothers' next movie called Cherry. I think it's their first director's gig after Endgame. It says, Cherry parallels the true life story of the author, former army medic who returned from Iraq with extreme undiagnosed PTSD, fell into an opioid addiction and began robbing banks. Walker was caught and convicted in 2011 and is scheduled to be released in 2020.
Really? So that's obviously, I mean, is that starring Tom Holland then as the lead role?
Yep. Yeah, Tom Holland be the lead.
Right, so he's obviously doing the whole, I don't want to get typecast, let's do something completely different. Good on him. I hope he can pull it off.
Yeah.
Because that'll be really interesting. I mean, you watch him in Spider-Man and he's, the twitchy teen. So that should be really interesting. Yeah, okay, cool. We got an ETA on that? Like, some years?
No, I don't think so.
Well, I mean, as well, like, he is kind of trying to start to get different roles already from Spider-Man. I know it was a bit before, but he did In the Heart of the Sea with Chris Hemsworth.
Chris Hemsworth, yeah.
And then he did that Lost City of Z with Charlie Hunnam from Sons of Anarchy. And
he did that Flood one with Naomi Watts in that as well.
Yeah, and he did that medieval piece with Bernthal as well.
Yep. And then he's also got...
he's also got a voice role in the new Doctor Dolittle too, so... Yep.
And he's also in another movie coming out with Daisy Ridley as well.
Yeah.
It's based on like a teen novel.
Right now, he's only 22 years old, so he's got the world at his feet currently, and not getting typecast into Spider-Man and trying to expand out early is the smartest thing he can do.
Alright, next we have Taika Waititi is developing a Time Bandits TV series for Apple.
Yes!
Now, I'm sure I've seen Time Bandits,
yes!
I just don't remember any of it.
Alright, so Time Bandits is like, I don't think it was a Monty Python film, but it had most of the Monty Python cast in it. It had... anybody who was in Python was pretty much in this thing. And it's 7 dwarves or whatever it is, and they're traveling through time using a map that they stole from God. And they're trying to get treasure and all this sort of stuff. It was a British thing. It was hilarious. It was such a good film. And if you look at that original film, and then you think about Taika Waititi, you just know he's just going to do an amazing job with this film. Like you just know straight up. It's perfect for him. Absolutely perfect. I'm so keen.
Wow, and I didn't realize. I've kind of heard of Time Bandits just through knowing movies as a kid. I didn't actually realize it's kind of like tied together the same way that like the Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz and World's End are tied together with Brazil and Adventures of Baron Munchausen. In that they're all these kind of like crazy
films.
Concept, super imaginative films that have all been done by Terry Gilliam.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it or you haven't watched it in a long time, do yourself a favor. It's a good movie, solid cast, and then watch it, and as you're watching it, just keep Taika in the back of your head, and you'll realize the potential.
Next, I'm going to include a bit we don't have on our list, and that is Bill and Ted Face the Music.
Yes! It's happening!
To release August 21st next year. Distributed by MGM under their Orion Pictures label.
Yep.
Yeah.
It looked really good. I saw the little video.
I'm so excited.
Like Keanu was sort of in character again, and it was cool.
Yeah, I've been a massive Bill and Ted fan ever since I was a little kid. Like, that's literally Bill and Ted and the Goonies.
So last week.
And yeah, pretty much. Bill and Ted and the Goonies were like my shit as a kid. And I've been wanting, like, this movie ever since. They said that they were thinking about doing a third one. It's going to be a shame that fucking Rufus isn't going to be there.
Rufus isn't it, yeah. I hopefully they put him in like one of those sort of, like we said before, in like some glowing lights in the future where he's sort of like, you know, moving picture or something, you know, where he strums the guitar, and like some sort of homage thing would be neat.
Yeah, and we're at a point as well where like they could totally kind of get away with it. They just need the permission of the estate.
Yeah.
To kind of do that, because, you know, obviously with all the deep fake technology that we have now, like it's not that hard to do.
Yeah, I mean, I made all these videos with you, Lucas. They're fantastic.
Oh my god, I can only imagine.
Can I Dropbox link?
Yeah, sure, man. Sure.
But yeah, and I hope as well they bring back William Sadler too as Death. I hope he gets at least a cameo.
Maybe.
Next, we have what came out of nowhere that I heard nothing about. Something that kept me awake for an entire hour as I rewatched it at least 40 times in that 1 hour. And it was...
The Dora the Explorer trailer!
Right?
The fuck?
Didn't you watch the Dora the Explorer trailer? It was great.
The Avengers in-game official trailer.
Holy crap.
Which, according to the Russos, most of the footage used in these trailers are not going to be in the film, and they used to misdirect the viewers.
Yeah.
Take that as what you want.
Yeah, I mean... The big spoiler, of course, at 1 minute 57 is we see Stark and Nebula walking with the rest of the team in the tech suits.
Yep.
I wonder if that's one of the misdirection shots.
Well, according to what they showed for the shareholders meeting, which I'm gonna... No, you don't want to know because you didn't... You just
I didn't read it
because
it was pretty heavy in spoilers. It
pretty much just shows it shows that Nebula's with them. That's pretty much the shareholders thing.
Right, but does it mention
and you already
Stark?
know it from that. It doesn't mention Stark, it just mentions Nebula.
Right, so again, like, so the Stark, that Stark imagery in the tech suit could be misdirection.
Or it could be Stark just like...
Because why do that? Why build up all this tension in the first trailer where, you know, it looks like he's going to die, and then before the movie's even released, just go, lol jokes right here? Like, that just doesn't make sense.
Fuck with us.
Yeah, I guess, but I mean, it just, I think they are fucking with us. I think that there's misdirection.
Or they do that, so people are like, they're fucking with us, and we go watch it, and it's like, actually, they weren't fucking with us. Holy shit.
Maybe.
Who knows, but...
Basically, all we've learnt, don't trust the Russos.
No, yeah. They're very good at what they do.
So, again, there's not a lot they're actually showing us of the movie's plot. We still know very little.
Yeah.
Which is good, which means we're going to go in knowing shit all. Unlike Infinity War, we actually knew, a decent amount from the trailer. Yeah. This is good.
Oh, we sort of know a lot from Infinity. Like, I walked in...
Nobody knew the ending. No one knew the ending.
We knew a lot from Infinity War, but this one we don't know a lot, really. We can take guesses off the toys and Lego sets, other merchandise, and some behind-the-scenes pictures we've seen, but we still don't know a lot of how the plot goes, which is good. Let's hope there's no leaks for it.
Alrighty.
Next, we have Marvel's Shang-Chi movie has found its director, and Destin Daniel Cretton, who's short-term 12, The Glass Castle, both movies starring Brie Larson, so he's familiar with some actors.
Isn't Shang-Chi just like a lesser version of Daredevil, though?
He's skilled in like most martial arts, and then at one point he was able to create duplicates of himself.
That's right. Yeah, I knew he did the duplicates. Yeah, it just seems like an odd one because he's like, I'm not saying he just seems like a lower tier hero. That's all.
I think he's trying to branch out on diversity and just get some more out there.
Yeah,
probably
that's fair enough. Yeah, good on him.
Next,
in saying that though, not a lot of people thought the Guardians of the Galaxy were going to work because they were a C team. So Marvel's proved that they can take someone who's not a crazy hot property and turn them into something big.
Yep.
Shang-Chi has been one that's been DE hero list for a long time, so there's also a massive push to get Mike Moe from Inhumans, and he was also in the Power Rangers movie playing Shang-Chi, which would be fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Really good.
Next we have some big news, completely unexpected, and that's James Gunn is returning to direct Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Disney has rehired. Apparently Disney didn't actually look for anyone else.
Yep. Tail between their legs.
So this is a big...
It makes me wonder, though, if they're like, look, they had a meeting, they're like, look, James, we have to be seen to be doing something, so we're going to say that you're fired, but don't worry, we'll rehire you in 6 months, once the dust blows over. You almost get that feeling, don't you?
Well, wasn't there some sort of backroom deal that they said that they made with him?
I'm not sure.
I remember reading something about, like, after the news came out that he was coming back, like, it turns out, yeah, like Toby said, they didn't really look for anyone. That's why, like, when people were putting out people like Taika Waititi and all these other directors, everyone was like, no, we don't want to touch it. It's because everyone knew that James Gunn was coming back. It was just for appearance's sake. They had to fire him and then bring him back.
Yeah, because he'd been a naughty boy. Yeah.
Well, he hadn't really
Arguably. Yeah.
Hadn't been a naughty boy.
But, I mean, I guess the short version of this is great news for Guardians fans, and obviously that means that, you know, you're going to have Bautista and others happily coming back on board for the film, because it would have been really sad to see a Guardians 3 where you've got cast members that just didn't want to be there.
Yeah, pretty much. Bautista was pretty much saying he doesn't want to do it, but now...
So this is a win for Marvel fans, is the way I see it.
And James Gunn is tied to do Suicide Squad reboot, sequel, whatever they're doing first, which is end of this year they start filming it. Guardians will be after that.
Yeah, so that's 2021, fine. I think, right?
Yeah, 2021 and 2022 around there. We'll get Guardians, one or the other.
Definitely going to be Adam Warlock. It would be so galactic power by that level.
Well, and the thing is, like, no doubt he's going to go through and do a script rewrite. He now has all the Fox characters he wants to include in reference now if he wants.
True that.
So he can chuck Galactus in there, Silver Surfer, whatever.
Yeah.
Silver Surfer, please bring Silver Surfer into Guardians. Fuck me, that'd be amazing.
Next, we have one from Lucas, which is rumored. It's not 100%, but it comes from a reliable source, and that is Endgame. Avengers Endgame. The runtime is apparently 182 minutes, so 3 hours and 2 minutes long.
Yeah, I think we kind of knew that because the Russos said it was a 3-hour lock. But
before they locked it in, they said they're looking at 3 hours like 2 weeks before. So I guess it's pretty much locked in now.
Yeah.
So something that I talk about with a few friends of mine is that they think that people aren't going to want to sit there for a 3-hour movie. Every year, for about 35 years, people have sat down and watched WrestleMania, which at this point is going for about 6 hours. People will sit there for a 3-hour Marvel movie. It's not, especially not only that, but
they sit there for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, like they'll sit through. Yeah, people will sit through Super Bowl.
But I mean, Super Bowl has intermission. That's probably the biggest sort of thing. And some people are like, I wouldn't do intermission. But
WrestleMania has no intermission. WrestleMania does not give a shit who you are.
If you look at like movie releases around the world outside of like North America, a lot of cinemas, most cinemas across the globe, actually put intermissions in normal films still these days. You know, it's just that it's not culturally the norm, say, in Australia or North America. So, you know, I hope they do include an intermission. I think
it'll be great.
At least in the gold class. Yeah, definitely in the gold class at the very least. But anyway.
Oh, as I'm going to be hungry and thirsty that day.
Alright,
move on. What were we at? We're there. The Black Widow movie has just found its rival. They've casted Florence Pugh, who is, say her last name, she's recently seen in Fighting With My Family as Paige. Yep, she has apparently been cast as a rival spy against Black Widow.
Yes,
on the same level.
Thing that Portman was not Portman.
Watson.
Yeah, Watson was looking at.
Yep.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Same role.
Right. Yep. Okay. Right, cool.
And then also rumors are that the villain for this isn't confirmed, still rumors. The villain for the Black Widow movie is Taskmaster as well.
Which is
he was supposed to show up in one of the first drafts for Deadpool 1 or 2. They took him out, but apparently he's the rumored villain for this.
Cool.
If you don't know what his powers are, do you, Toby? No?
I'll look them up on the Marvel Wiki.
I'll just tell you, if he sees someone do a trick, as long as it's not superpowered, like a fighting style, a fight, like gymnastics, all that sort of stuff, he can copy it instantly. Muscle memory it instantly, and then he can do it from there on out, whenever. But the more and more he learns all these sorts of tricks, it fucks with his mind and fucks up his memory of other things. Kind of drives him a bit crazy.
Okay.
Next, we have Marvel's Runaways. Officially gets renewed for a 10-episode Season 3.
Excellent.
I haven't finished Season 1. I haven't even started Season 2, but I'll get there.
We're about halfway through Season 2, and it's been pretty good. I just haven't had time to get around to finish it yet. But really excited. It's I think it's one of the most underrated shows one of the most underrated things in the MCU right now.
No.
So definitely worth the time to watch it.
Next, we have a trailer from Toby. A Netflix show called Black Summer.
Yeah, so this looks like Netflix's retort to The Walking Dead.
Or Z Nation.
Yeah, or Z Nation. So if you're a fan of those shows, check the article because we'll have the the trailers in the article, and you can watch it there. But it looked all right. Yeah, it looks okay. Budget looks pretty good. So, if you're already watching Walking Dead, this is probably one to put on the wish list.
Next, we have Lucy in the Sky. I have no idea what this is.
This is a Natalie Portman film. She's an astronaut. She goes into space, and
looks like she gets a PTSD or something.
So there's a thing that can happen where like you're at a space station, you step out into the vastness of space. It can mess with you because essentially you're seeing infinity. Like there's no ground, there's no sky. It's just endless everything. And it can have an effect on some people, and it has an effect on her, and she sort of comes back to Earth, like you said, in almost like a form of PTSD, and how she deals with it.
Well.
Yeah, it's got a pretty good cast.
The cast is solid.
Is this the one that's got Dan Stevens and all that in it as well? That's the one?
Dan Stevens is her partner, I think, or like her husband. Yeah, one of them, like I can't remember which, but John Hamm is like. Oh no, John Hamm's her partner up in space.
Oh, Noah Hawley. He does Legion.
He does, yes.
And Zazie Beetz as well.
But yeah, John Hamm is her captain in space, and then Dan Stevens is her husband on the ground.
All right.
Yeah.
And then Dan Stevens is kind of watching this all unfold on the ground as she's kind of like having these PTSD style flashbacks of.
Yeah, she's really just coming apart.
Craziness, yeah. Like it looks really good. Like I really liked Black Swan, not for the reason that you would think, but the
masturbation scene.
the whole thing about like her mentality slowly unraveling and her becoming more and more crazy throughout that movie, that was something that was really interesting, and it looks like they're doing kind of the same thing with this. And
so what we're saying is Natalie Portman does crazy good.
Yeah, she looks really. she does look really good in it, and I hope it's something akin to Black Swan in the sense of the same performance.
Yeah, the depth of acting. Yeah.
Next, we have the Alien 40th Anniversary Anthology Shorts. 6 filmmakers are selected to bring their alien-inspired stories to life.
Yeah, and some of these look really, really good if you've watched the trailer. Like, production quality looks pretty decent. Is this now, do we know, is this going to be, I'm doubting this is going to be a cinema release, is this coming to streaming services, or do we know?
It might be streaming, or it might come to just the 40th Anniversary Blu-ray or something like that, maybe? I'm not sure. Disney Plus, where Fox possibly. Has it. Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah.
Next, we have the official trailer for Stranger Things Season 3.
Oh boy, look good.
That's
4th of July that comes out.
Yep.
There's some pretty crazy shit in this trailer.
Yeah.
I'm already theory crafting. Like,
I've got one big one.
Is it who the monster is at the end?
Yep.
Yeah, I think I know exactly where you're going.
Yeah, so the monster at the end, if you watch the trailer...
Let's not get into it, because this one I feel like a lot of people aren't going to want spoilers on.
Alright.
I will say though, the moment that monster popped up at the end, I just laughed. Like, he looks cool and he looks terrifying. But I just pointed and laughed at the TV as just like, hey look, it's Carnage!
The exact same thing, it looks like Carnage.
Yeah.
But yes, it looks very good.
Yep, I'll take the weekend off to watch that. Here's one that didn't excite me, and we all thought it really would, and it didn't excite. Maybe it excited you guys. Didn't excite me, and that was Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
What's wrong with you?
Blasphemer.
It looked flat, man. I'm sorry. It looked really flat.
You look flat.
They're hiding a lot in that trailer.
Thanks.
Yes.
Like
maybe
they were hiding because we know what it's all about.
Yeah, I know we know what it's all about, but it still looked like a really flat trailer. And I know it wasn't anyone that thought that. I spoke to a few other people, and they're all like,
I think it's doing it on purpose because of what we know. What like the three of us know about it.
I think Quentin Tarantino's had his day.
Fuck no.
He's only going to do one more movie after this. So.
Thank
Tarantino hasn't done a bad film.
I'll fight you.
Yeah, Pulp Fiction. What the fuck are you talking about?
Whoa!
Yeah,
I'm kidding. I've only watched half of it.
I think he's done some good films, but I think he's done some average films that people have tried to hype up.
Like what?
I don't think... I mean, From Dusk Till Dawn was okay.
That wasn't him. That was Robert Rodriguez. Next.
Kill Bill was okay.
Never seen it.
Kill Bill was great. Next.
No, you can't just go next, because it wasn't great. It was average.
Next.
It was average.
Hateful Eight.
Awesome.
Never even watched it. Why would I?
Hateful Eight. Dude, Hateful Eight's excellent.
Quentin Tarantino next. Oh, Fuck got
Actually, okay, hold on. I've watched Reservoir Dogs and I did not like that at all. I thought that was boring as fuck.
It was okay.
What?
It was okay.
Yeah.
Reservoir
okay.
Dogs is his best movie.
I've seen half of Pulp Fiction, never seen Jackie Brown, never seen Kill
The thing
Bill.
is, Quentin Tarantino is hailed for his dialogue scenes, right? And that's fine. Like
He is an excellent writer of dialogue.
But
all the credit in the world.
But go back and watch any film from probably the 1940s through the 1960s, and you'll get just as good dialogue, if not better, because they didn't have special effects and all this other stuff. So their films were just dialogue.
Yeah, but the thing is, he's doing films with massive amounts of dialogue, and
what?
I'm not going to say clever dialogue, but he's doing well-written dialogue in a day where dialogue is kind of thrown to the wayside.
Yeah, that's my point. It's just that
action.
my point is that yeah, sure. All I'm saying is that if you want to broaden your horizons, you can find ample supply of just as good stuff or better stuff in movies bygone. That's all. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, a lot of the time dialogue today is crap. And it's great that someone's doing it, but I just think that, like, I watch his stuff and I'm like, I could just as go and watch All About Eve.
But no one's balanced.
Long before you were born, Ethan.
Okay.
Marilyn Monroe's first film, I think, with Betty Davis.
Show me a movie that can give both the action and the dialogue and script.
I'm sure I could
of stuff like Django and Hateful Eight. And trust me, you will not find anything that'll be close that can balance it as well as those two films.
Lord of the Rings.
Fuck no. Absolutely not.
What's that one where he's the killer and he uses the air gun to put bolts in your head?
No Country for Old Men.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know if I've ever seen that. Is that the Tommy Lee Jones one?
It's got...
I actually haven't seen that movie. That's on my list.
It's really good. Yeah,
it's on my list of movies to watch.
And if you, I understand what Quentin Tarantino does, and if you like things like his films, like Pulp Fiction and Reservoir Dogs, you would like that film. It's not bad.
Oh no, Tommy Lee Jones is in it, but yeah, that's the one with Javier Bardem, where he's the killer.
Yeah, it was. He played the role quite well. Like, he's quite creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it
has some off topic.
I know, but it has some really iconic dialogue scenes. Like the first scene where he walks into the service station is just it's a Tarantino styled conversation. You would love it.
Then again, that's also a Coen Brothers movie, and Coen Brothers are very good dialogue writers.
Yeah.
So
anyway,
moving on, we have the first details for Castle Rock Season 2, which will explore the origin story of Misery's nurse.
Yeah, interesting that they're
because
season 1 was so sort of it referenced his written works, but it was kind of disconnected from everything he'd ever written, whereas this is like a direct connection to his work, which is interesting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if you watched the first I watched all the first season, there's little references and hints to his other works and characters, but it's not based on anything, whereas this is based on the Misery book as a prequel piece, which is it's just a complete sort of change from what came before.
Yeah. And also it is starring my future wife, Lizzie Kaplan.
Right. Does your current partner know this?
Yeah,
I do. Oh, what? Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Ethan is fully aware.
Yeah. Yeah. It'll be interesting.
It's got a pretty good cast lined up so far. I mean, it's only three major people, but it's Lizzie Kaplan, Tim Robbins, and Garrett Hedlund. So, you know,
first season was okay. It was okay to good. It could have been a lot better. So, but I'm happy to give the second season a crack.
Next we have a trailer for John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum. I haven't watched the trailer. I'm watching it now for the first time.
Oh my god, it's so good.
It's just action. It's just action.
I do know there is one reference to the Matrix in this, though, in the trailer.
Oh, that went past me completely.
It was when he goes, guns, lots of guns.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, what are you going to need from me? Guns.
Lots of guns. Yes. Yeah.
But the fact that it's got Jason Mantzoukas in it, I am just, he's going to be so good in this.
So Jason Mantzoukas is kind of breaking out of that gross comedy. Like, he's a funny dude. He has a movie, I haven't seen it yet, with Tony Revolori from, he plays Flash in Spider-Man Homecoming. Apparently that movie's really good, and that's the movie that's getting him noticed by a lot of people that, he can do more than the gross out humor.
Yeah, I mean, I first saw him in The League, and fuck, he's...
Same.
Ooh.
He's foul in that show.
Oh, hell yeah, he is.
And then he went on to he actually went and he's had a recurring segment in Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah.
Where he was a bit more of a loose cannon-y type role, but he's showing what he can do, man. Like, he's getting an opportunity, and it's going to be interesting seeing him as like a villain, like an action villain.
Yeah.
All this because of a puppy. It wasn't just a puppy.
Good
trailer. Looking forward to the movie. What's the street date on that? When's it coming out?
May 17th or something, I think. Yeah, May 17th.
Looking forward to it.
It's between Dark Phoenix and
should wrap up the trilogy nicely.
And Godzilla 2.
And Godzilla 2 is the week
after.
And then we end with Lucas's favorite trailer this fortnight.
Dora and the Lost City. I've got to say,
can I say first? Hang on, because you guys sort of more grew up with it. Can I just say? No. Let me just do this thing. When I first heard about this, because I only ever sort of saw the pictures and stuff, I was like, totally not interested. Whatevs. And I watched this trailer, and I'm like, I'm actually really interested to see this film now. And I have no previous Dora experience at all.
Well, hold on to your butt, because I saw a thing on Twitter the other day, and I sent it to Lucas, and it is Danny Trejo has confirmed he is voicing Boots the monkey.
Yeah.
I shared it on Facebook.
Did you?
Yeah.
Danny Trejo. ¿Cómo está? Españolo, huh?
It's actually got a pretty good cast list.
It does.
Benicio del Toro is swiping the fox.
Benicio del Toro.
Don't give me a lesson in fucking Spanish, right? I know
it's
Spanish.
Like, it's Ethan. But yeah, so Danny Trejo is the monkey, and Benicio del Toro is... Yeah, there's a few big names in there. It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean...
Morrison too, which is...
I know you guys will see it in the cinema. I'll wait for that.
I didn't know that until I saw the trailer, and I'm like, the fuck is he doing in there?
Alright, so that's all of our news?
I just love the fact that Tamura Morrison is actually doing kids' movies now, because he was obviously in Moana,
and then
he was doing fucking Dora, and then he was what?
He's an Aquaman.
Oh, of course, yeah, he was an Aquaman.
Right. So let's do a really quick, I'm going to do a really quick spoiler-free for Ricky Gervais's Afterlife. You gents haven't watched it?
Nah, fuck that. Don't like him.
Yeah, I'm not a huge Ricky Gervais fan. I do want to
watch it. It's just a matter of actually getting down to have 4 hours free to watch it.
Yeah, I will agree. I'm probably still not a huge Ricky Gervais fan. Like, a lot of the stuff I've seen him in previously, I didn't think he was funny. Like, it just didn't get a laugh out of me, and I just switched off. This was really good. It's 6 parts, so it ends up sort of being like I think it's 6, but it ends up being like 3 hours. And I laughed. I almost cried. I felt inspired.
What? Toby has a soul and almost cried?
Hey man, I cried at Avengers. I felt inspired. I felt repulsed. It's just an emotional roller coaster, and it's done really, really well. And I encourage everyone to watch it. I mean, I guarantee you will have laughs and a myriad of emotions. And it was just, it just sort of really surprised me. I wasn't gonna watch it, and then I was sort of looking for something to watch, stuck on the first episode, and then binged it pretty hard. And I really, really enjoyed it. It's got a good cast. It's got some good acting. It's got a good story. I mean, watch it. Simple as that. It will surprise you. Even if you're not a big Ricky fan, it will surprise you.
Yeah, I'm super excited to watch it. Like, I love Ricky Gervais. I don't love Ricky Gervais. I do think he's funny. I think a lot of the things that he does say, like, people kind of hold him more accountable than they do other comedians for things that he says and things that he does. But yeah, I'll watch anything that if he's in it. And I do really want to sit down and watch this. It does look good. So
yeah, the timing is good too, because you sort of get the humor, and then you're sort of thinking, like, you can't do this forever. It's just going to get cringy. And so I hope the story sort of evolves, and then it just does. Like, the timing is really, you never sort of get to a point where you're like tired of what's happening, if that makes any sense. It was it was really enjoyable. So, and it's not super long. It doesn't overstay its welcome, and it's worth a watch. You will definitely get a laugh if nothing else, but I think it'll probably hit a few people in the feels too, especially if you've had family members that have died from cancer, or you have lost a partner in the past and things like that. Like, you'll definitely be able to relate in that regards too. But it was really enjoyable. It was good. David Bradley has a few, as is the father, has a few really good scenes. Later on, I got a really few good laughs out of him. So yeah, watch it. It's good. All right. Okay, so let's move on to another Netflix series that's getting a lot of discussion at the moment, and that is Love, Death, and Robots, which I believe both you gentlemen have watched.
No, Lucas has not watched it. I have.
Lucas
I
has
watched
watched
all
it.
of it.
Okay, yeah, I watched about half of it, 3/4 of it.
It's from David Fincher and Tim Miller. It's essentially a reimagining of heavy metal, which David Fincher has been wanting to redo for a long amount of time. This is essentially that. They're redoing heavy metal. So it's 18 standalone short stories, all under 20 minutes long, with different cast, crews, different animation studios, different styles, and all that. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Some were really good, some were okay, and some were a bit eh. Overall, I thought it was really good. It'd take you about 3 hours, if that, to watch all of it.
Yeah, I felt that. Yeah, it was very hit and miss for me. I can appreciate some of the artistic design in some of these. I thought the story and a lot of what I had seen was a bit weak. I thought some of it was unnecessarily. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've watched Ninja Scroll, so and I have it on DVD. I'm well aware of anime violence and sex and all the rest of it, but I don't know. It's just some of it felt unnecessarily edgy. Some of it felt a little gratuitous for the sake of being gratuitous. It didn't. Some of the things that sort of happened didn't really move the story forward, but I guess I shouldn't be too surprised. I think if anybody's watched adult anime before, whether it's, classics like Wicked City or whatever have you, you're probably not going to be too surprised here, but definitely heavy metal was quite adult in and of itself. But, it's not going to be for everybody. It's
definitely not.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess, go in with an open mind. Maybe get high before you watch it. That might help.
I mean,
because it's very artistic. It is very artistic.
Some of the animations are really good, and some of them aren't. Like there's one, episode 7, Beyond the Aquila Rift, and that one it's very lifelike. It's not really like anything special artistically. It's just very, very well done to look like us. And then you have some that are The Witness, and as Toby said, that's kind of you've seen Scanner Darkly, Rotoscope. You've seen Scanner Darkly. It's like it's all filmed and that's put over top of it.
Yeah.
They vary in different art styles. There's one live action one there, and that's it. And that one was actually not too bad.
I think too, like anybody who's largely artistic, like if you're generally a creative person that does your own sort of drawings or CG or that, because you'll also probably appreciate it too, because you'll be looking at it from a different angle to someone like myself, who's a bit more mundane. Anyway, it's definitely worth at least sticking your toe in the bathwater and seeing if you like it. Because you'll either love it or you'll probably be like me, where you're like, it's trying a little hard. Anyway, all right. So let's move on to our main topic of conversation this fortnight, and it's a big one, and that's the Disney acquisition of Fox. Now, there's a lot of people that are really supportive of this move, because obviously it means that things like the MCU are now got access to a lot more characters. And then there's a lot of people that are concerned because we're seeing consolidation of media and entertainment, and there's some fears there. And then the counter argument to that is then you're also starting to see the rise. Well, whenever you sort of see these, the consolidation of older formats like news media, printed media stuff, you tend to see the rise of a digital or an IT alternative, and in this case that's Netflix and streaming services, which then rival the likes of Disney and whatever have you. So it's an interesting topic, and obviously people have got different opinions on it, but whether you agree or not, it's happened, it's here, and Disney now has access to about 100 years worth of movies and TV shows.
Yeah, they have a shit ton. Now, a lot of this won't be coming to Disney Plus because I think they want to keep that under. They don't want anything R-rated on their streaming platform, so a lot of this won't be on there. Probably because it doesn't mean they might not start up. Yeah, it could possibly go to Hulu. Now they own a 30% share.
60,
Hulu.
Isn't it?
No, it's 30. I think they're trying. No, 40. I think they're trying to get it to 60.
I thought they had 30, and then they got the other 30 off Fox, and then they're trying to get another 10 off.
Oh, that's what it is. Yeah, I think
Warner Brothers or something.
So,
sorry.
So the split is 30. Well, it was 30 Disney, 30 Fox, 30 Comcast, and then 10% Time Warner.
So, and they're trying to buy the Time Warner 10%, I believe, but they own the majority already, so they can move their adult material into Hulu without much resistance. So, but there's obviously a lot of stuff they've acquired. A lot of this is already many of you will heard about on just online, and there's people discussing it. But I did go through sort of a fairly lengthy list and pick out a few pieces. Some ones that are obvious and we should talk about, and then I found a few little gems that perhaps some of us had forgotten about.
Before you do that, just looking at one thing right here, the WaltDisneyCompany.com, their official website, they have a big banner up showing all their properties. They currently have Star Wars, The Shape of Water, Toy Story, Avatar, Captain Marvel, Simpsons, A Monkey, Sport, News, Deadpool, Mickey Mouse, Donald Glover, Frozen, and some more sport. So they've added in Fox properties already right now in the Walt Disney Company, showing that Deadpool is one of the main ones that they think is a...
They have to sell most of the sport, though. That was part of the original agreement, so they won't have sport for very long. That's going to have to be sold. All right, so one of the biggest ones is the original. In the original trilogy, Star Wars Episode 4: A New Hope. Even though they owned the rights to it when they picked up Lucas, they didn't have distribution rights. They were still held by Fox for the original film. Now that they've picked up Fox, they have distribution rights for A New Hope. A lot of people are hoping that we might finally see a home release of the original 4, 5, and 6 trilogy without Lucas's improvements. The original, as it aired in the cinema, where Han shoots first trilogy. Will it happen? Well, I guess the fans hope so. There's some concern that it won't. It'd be neat. I'm not a huge Star Wars fan, but I know there's a lot of Star Wars fans, because the best print to date of the original trilogy is the Laserdisc release, as far as I'm aware, which, if you're into VPNs and doing illegal things, you can find that online. We wouldn't encourage that, but at the same time, you know where to find it. But to have them on Blu-ray in their original print, I think would make a lot of people happy. And it's an opportunity for Disney to just do a whole new box set, of course, so, money. Of course, they picked up a lot of the James Cameron stuff, so like you mentioned, Avatar, and some of his older pieces like Titanic are now over with Disney. We, of course, X-Men, so that's going to be huge. Fantastic Four, huge. Of course, we've already spoken about this in the previous podcasts. Aliens and Predator, so they have both of those now, so, maybe we'll see some more. I know we've got... lots of rumours around Aliens. I don't know if they're going to do anything with Predator IP. You'd think so.
Probably not with how the last one ended.
Yeah, going down this list of movies, some that you might not have sort of considered or care to consider. The Maze Runner series was owned by Fox. The Kingsman series. Planet of the Apes, which I know Lucas is very keen on.
I like them too.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it depends if they're going to do a reboot or not, because
they need to do one more.
The trilogy's done now, so whether or not...
I think any Circus City have plans for a fourth one. They need to bring it back for the humans to come back.
Yeah, Disney loves their reboots. The Assassin's Creed movie, and there was a sequel in the works, whether that still happens. The Die Hard series, and I believe the latest one that was on the Fox sort of board to be coming soon was McLean. Whether that's still happening, but they now own Die Hard. They own Hitman. They own the Percy Jackson series, Alvin and the Chipmunks, so maybe we'll get them. And Wall Street, which I don't think Oliver Stone needs to do a third one, but they own that now. The Night at the Museum series, which I could easily see Disney rebooting. Romancing the Stone, Jewel of the Nile, which we've spoken about in the past. Yeah, so that's now with Disney. Garfield, The Omen, so the horror series. Put her down, Damien. The Home Alone series. Fight Club. That's over there. Independence Day series.
I still wanted another one of those.
Cocoon. The Cocoon series. Remember that? Probably a bit before your time. 80s.
I know Cocoon.
There you go. Revenge of the Nerds. Revenge of the Nerds. Revenge. No,
you've seen it.
Don't think Disney's going to be touching that one with a 20-foot pole. It's like soft porn. Big Trouble in Little China. Don't touch it. And the Rocky Horror Picture Show, which then means that Tim Curry is now a Disney princess.
Okay, now.
And then TV shows, obviously the big obvious ones, things like Family Guy, Simpsons, Futurama. What you might not have...
Bob's Burgers as well.
Yeah, what you might not have thought of was The X-Files. It's Fox.
Oh, yeah.
24. American Horror Story. The Sleepy Hollow TV series. Bones, which has come to conclusion, but still. Sons of Anarchy. Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Angel. And there's been talks about old mate coming back to do another season of Angel.
I was actually about to bring that up. It wasn't even him. It was David Boreanaz that actually brought it up.
Yep. So, and I know there's been a lot of rumors about Buffy reboot as well. Has there not? Because I'm pretty sure Sarah Michelle Gellar gave it her blessing and all the rest of it. So that's going to be under the control of Disney now. But that also means that Buffy's now a Disney princess. Yay. And so's Angel. Ha. The Sopranos.
Disney princess. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Ethan's just sad he's not a Disney princess.
Fucking A.
Yeah. Sopranos, Firefly, MASH, which we already knew about, and Doogie Howser MD.
Oh, God.
Yeah, reboot that shit. So what it means is you may not see reboots and you may not see sequels, but what you may see is, re-releases on DVD, so to speak, and Blu-ray of box sets of TV shows, movies, things like that. And maybe not. But I would expect you're going to see a lot of this stuff that I've just read out on the Disney streaming service. And when you sort of look at that list, it's, and there's a lot more as well. It's pretty impressive. And for those in America or those using a VPN that have access to Disney Plus later this year, I think it's going to be huge. And I guess that's what they want, because they need to rival Netflix.
Yeah, definitely.
Because Netflix is a real threat to cinema.
Oh, fucking A it is. That's why Steven Spielberg is on one of the film festivals.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's just a medium of consumption. I mean, making the film doesn't change. It's just how you consume it as an audience, I guess. But anyway. So, how do you feel, I guess, Lucas, about this overall? Are you happy because you're an MCU fan, or are you a little cautiously optimistic, or worried, or?
I like the idea of obviously having Fox pretty much all united under one banner, except for like Spider-Man and Hulk to a degree, because Hulk's still technically with Universal in terms of solo rights. But
yeah,
the only reason I don't have a problem with it, but I would have had Disney not been forced to sell their sports stuff, because you can't be a sports you can't have sports channels and contracts on sports when you want to have all these entertainment side projects. So it's kind of put your money into one or put your money into the other, or sell some stuff off and keep it even. With Fox looking to go more in the direction of news and sports, it only made sense that someone went to buy that stuff out. I think a lot of people are saying that a lot of people are having issues because it's Disney that's buying it. Had it have been Warner Brothers or had it have been any other studio, I don't think we would see this much of a fight back. Disney is kind of seen as this big evil looming corporation, so I don't have a problem with it. Realistically, I think we're going to start to see, it's definitely going to go this way, the idea of streaming services going up against each other and signing contracts. So you're going to have Netflix versus Hulu versus Disney Plus. And then everyone, Hulu is Disney owned anyway, but like we said, Comcast and Time Warner and that still have stake in Hulu, so you can still kind of call it independent from Disney Plus. But it's going to be really interesting seeing all these studios basically choosing sides in a streaming war. Yeah. But I think that's the way it's going for sure.
Absolutely, yeah. I think for me, movies are following in the footsteps of video games, where we used to have hundreds of AAA quote-unquote developers pumping out these games, and now we have half a dozen or a dozen big companies making AAA titles, and everything else is indie. And I sort of see a similar pattern here, where we're going to have half a dozen movie studios making big films for the cinema, and then you've got smaller studios that are just going to be releasing stuff straight to Netflix, where they don't need to spend as much on marketing, where they don't have to spend as much on getting films out to cinemas and all this sort of stuff. So it's the future, really, long term. I don't think you're going to kill the cinema overnight by any stretch of the imagination, but it's definitely, it's not what it was. If you go back and look at the cinema in sort of the 80s or the 60s or the 50s, and it's never going to be that again.
Yeah. But I don't think cinema is going away at the same time. Like, there's this big fear in when it comes to filmmakers, that the film experience is lost when everything goes to home streaming. It's like everything's going to home streaming because it's now convenient. But if you still keep pumping content out for the cinema, then people are going to go to the cinemas to go and see those movies. Like, they're still making billions of dollars a year in stuff like Marvel movies and.
I think anybody that's worried about, because there's a lot of people that are sort of worried about, like, with all this consolidation, you're just going to have, like, a handful of studios that are producing content that they see as, whatever is acceptable or whatever message they want to portray and all the rest of that stuff. But I think realistically, if you're not happy, let's say for whatever reason you're not happy with what Disney's doing, okay? And you're not happy with the movies they're producing. Let's say you don't like MCU and you're not into all this sort of stuff, right? I actually think with the rise of streaming, you've probably got more diversity available to you than ever before, you can log into Netflix and there's such a broad variety of genres and film types. If you want to watch something if you look at, if your name's Jodie Foster and you think that the MCU is boring, you can go watch an art house film on Netflix anytime you want to. Whereas if there was no home streaming, if you were just relying on the cinema, the wait time on something more niche or something more controversial, let's say, because it's political, would have been a hell of a lot longer, because you're like, well, this film releases in January, and the next film that suits my taste isn't coming out until December next year, whatever. So I think, actually, realistically, if you're concerned about, these handful of big studios pumping out films that they want to make, and you're like, well, that's not what I want to watch, then I think you just need to turn to streaming, because it's there. It's probably more easier than ever and more accessible than ever for smaller studios to get their films seen globally. If you're an Australian film student or developer, let's say you're an up and coming film director in Australia and you've made a film, trying to get that film picked up by distribution studios around the world so that they will show your film in cinemas, I would imagine has to be a lot harder than just doing one business deal with Netflix.
Yeah, and like. There's not to get into the crazy politics of it all, but if a lot of people that I see complaining about the fact that this is all consolidating now into one giant corporation, generally seem to be a lot of the people that seem to kind of complain and whinge about the free market.
Yes.
So if you're going to be one of those people that says, hey, listen, let the free market dictate where consumers spend their money, and you don't want to go and let these companies go into streaming services, then guess what? Go pump money into the cinemas. That's the free market at work.
Yeah.
Try not to get into all the politics, because there's a whole other political side of the week.
Yeah, and I would probably be a lot more concerned if Disney were if they were producing news, like if they owned a number of papers and radio, like if it was a Murdoch kind of setup, that would be more concerning. Because you're in reporting news, you're able to change the narrative. But when it's purely entertainment, and that's, let's be honest, that has always been the focus of Disney since, the beginning, then to me, it's not such a huge concern.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, what are your thoughts on this entire thing, Ethan?
I think I'm happy with it. Because it means, again, new things in the MCU. I'm not happy with it because of how it's affecting a lot of Fox properties that were in development. Like Aliens, potential for that. New Mutants is being fucked up because of it. Then again, Mutants are probably going to be better off with the rest of the MCU in that as well. I'm looking forward to the Disney Plus, but the R-rated stuff and just being all sort of PG stuff, I'm not like, I reckon there should be like two different split things. One, they should have like, an adults only part for it and things like that. Overall, I'm excited for it, for what it's going to mean. I know a lot of people aren't happy because now it means that Disney owns something like 40% of the movie market and all that sort of stuff. And yeah. But overall,
to be fair, I would imagine again that statistic is looking at films released to cinema. I would be interested to see how much they own. If you were able to tally up every film that's currently on a streaming service, whether it's Amazon or Hulu or Stan or anything like that around the world, if you were able to tally up every single film, how much of a percentage is owned by Disney in that instance?
Yeah,
I would love to know that number, because
Yeah.
I doubt it would be anywhere near as high as 40%. When you consider that there's Indian films on there, you've got German films, Japanese films, like from all around the world. I think, look, the Disney-owned IPs would probably still be a pretty chunky percentage in that graph, but I don't think it'd be anywhere near as high as 40%. And again, this is what I'm saying. Like, I think there is, we're at a point in film consumption now where, we do, whether you agree with it or not, need to acknowledge what's happening at home with streaming services and bring that into the fold. Because if you're only ever going to look at what's happening in the cinema, you're missing out on so much.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. It's an interesting one.
Yeah.
I guess, as I said, we all know that Disney loves reboots, so we might see some reboots, and that would be interesting.
Depends, yeah.
I want them to leave Big Trouble in Little China alone, so I'm quite happy.
That needs a remake. That movie's fucking dated. Give us a remake or some shit. Come on.
It was a good try. I'll give you that. But I just saw it comcoming a mile away, and no hook there.
I gotta try.
No hook on that.
I gotta
bait.
try.
Yeah, no hook on that bait. I'm sorry, buddy. All right, well, so I mean, I guess if you've got anybody listening, if you got thoughts, ideas, an opinion on Disney's purchase of Fox, we'd really like to hear it. So let us know, because then we can read it out in a future podcast. We go, hey, this person says this thing, because that'd be kind of cool. I'd like to do that, and then we can agree with you or not, as it may be. We've got some movies between now and next fortnight, I think, coming out the cinema, don't we?
Do we?
Or at least
yes, we do. Because guess what comes out this week? Us.
Oh, Us. Yeah, that's right.
I am so excited for that movie.
Might go watch it on Friday or Saturday.
So there's actually a few movies coming out in the next 2 weeks that are pretty massive. I'm just getting my list up here. But Us, 5 Feet Apart, and Dumbo all dropped on Thursday.
We got Shazam.
And then the following Thursday, Shazam, Wonder Park, and Pet Sematary.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I made a mention of this to Toby and Ethan last week, but after that, man, there's some crazy movies coming out. You got Hellboy the week after that, and then I think the
Endgame 2 weeks.
Week and a half after that is Endgame. There's also that Curse of the Weeping Woman movie that we've talked about.
We can comment on. It's part of the Conjuring universe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What? Yeah. The guy. Remember in like the Annabelle movies, the father found the Annabelle doll and tried entering the church, and he couldn't.
No way.
He's in that same character, same actor, everything. He's in the Curse of Weeping Woman.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the
because it's produced by
from the producers of the Conjuring universe.
Yeah, they officially confirmed that it is set in the Conjuring universe. Yeah.
Wow.
Interesting.
But yeah, and then 2 weeks after Endgame, you've got Detective Pikachu coming out.
Yeah.
No one cares about that.
Week after that is John Wick 3.
Yep.
Week after that is Aladdin and Brightburn. The week after that is Godzilla. The week after that is Dark Phoenix. The week after that is Men in Black.
Week after that is Toy Story.
And Child's Play remake.
Yep. Week after that is Annabelle.
2 weeks after that is Spider-Man: Far From Home.
Yep.
Week after that is 2 weeks after that, is Lion King.
Week after that's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yep. You've also got then after that Hobbs and Shaw. New Mutants is still listed for release in August. No, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood's coming out in August.
That says July.
August 15th.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Lots of stuff happening.
Yep. And then it's Chapter 2 in September.
Yep.
Yeah. And we'll be doing a recording when we come out of the second half of Infinity War, when we come out of Endgame, like we did last time.
It's going to be me crying, so don't worry.
That'll be split up because I won't be with you guys.
Yeah.
Well, you suck.
Yeah, I can't make it.
You suck.
But I will call you guys and cry.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. Yeah.
We'll be back next fortnight. We'll have some more news, some more trailers, and some more topics of discussion, and some spoilery-free reviews, hopefully, of some of that stuff hitting the cinema. Thank you very much for listening. thank you very much to our Patreon supporters who help make all this possible. And we hope you have a fantastic fortnight, and we'll catch you next fortnight. Dun 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 dun.